Hey, good morning, guys. Gary at Wild Country Customs here. I wanted to take a few minutes this morning and go over our open reed cow elk calls. We just finished up a local show here just south of where I live called Market in the Mountains. Sold a bunch of these things, and I had a pretty good handful of requests from new hunters and from gals who were buying these calls for their husbands and their kids for an instructional video on how to run them. You know, when you do this for a while, you kind of get a little jaded, and I guess I don't always think about that. I just think they're easy to run and everybody should know how to run one. So I'm going to go ahead and run through this morning. This is not meant to be a deep dive into how to call cow, how to call cow elk. Say that 5 times fast. This is just going to be how to get you started on the call, how to control the call, and how to start making the cow sounds and get you headed down the right path with the call. So to get started, I tell guys generally just take this orange band off. I'll get up close to the camera here. Little orange band that comes on it, just pop that thing off to get started. And what you want to do to get going is just make some noise on the call. It doesn't matter what it is. You want to figure out the spots where to place your lips. You get the high pitch, medium pitch, low pitch. Just play with it to where you're making some noise on it and get a feel for how much air it takes to run the call. One of the common mistakes with these is guys blowing way too hard on them, and that makes them sound, for any better word, just makes them sound horrible. So it doesn't take a lot of air, but just kind of figure out what it does take and how to get different pitches. So it'd be something like this. Just run up and down through different notes. And I'm setting the neighbor's dogs off, so hopefully that doesn't ruin the video. But do that for a while and kind of get comfortable with how to hit the different pitches and the different, the different notes on it. And once you get to that point, go ahead, put the orange ring back on. I like to run that band about 1/4 inch from the bottom. Some guys don't run the band. You don't necessarily have to. But what the band really does for you, if you heard there when I was doing those notes, the lower notes almost get kind of a rattly, raspy sound, almost maybe plasticky. That band helps take that out of it, as well as kind of tweak the tone just a little bit. But the main way you're going to control the tone and the pitch is with the position on your lips. The next thing you got to figure out is whether you prefer to run these things with the reed facing down on your bottom lip, or if you prefer it with the reed facing up on your upper lip. It doesn't matter which way you do that. That's personal preference. And some guys find it more comfortable one way or the other. Some guys can run it both ways and it doesn't matter. Personally, I prefer it facing down. I find that to be the most comfortable and the easiest to control. So the next exercise I tell guys to do, slide the band all the way to the bottom, and then try to, for lack of any better way to put it, like a squeaky door sound. You're going to run up and down the scale, but try to do it smoothly. So it's going to sound something like this. So practice that, and all I'm doing is starting out with my lips, my bottom lip pushing towards the end of the reed, and I'm sliding the call in to the base and then back out. There's really nothing to it. And once you figure out how to do that smoothly, you'll transition into making all the cow elk sounds you need to make. So I'm going to put that reed back up. Once you've mastered that, go ahead and start working on the cow elk sounds. And the standard cow elk sound is just a 2-note sound, kind of an ee-o that just rolls off. It's not a sharp break in between, it's just an ee-o. And you're going to do that by starting, on the outward part, figure out what pitch you want. So somewhere in that range, and then you're going to either slide the call in a little bit or kind of roll it a little bit to get it to break down into that lower note. So it'll sound like this. So depending on where you start, it's going to just determine whether that's a higher pitched calf sound, or you're going to go down the scale to where you sound more and more like a mature cow. Once you've figured that out, you know, then you can work on combining these calls into, you know, a cow and a calf elk, calling back and forth, you know, whatever you're going to do for whatever calling scenario you're in. So practice that. If you're still struggling with it, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to help you out with it and get you squared away. But really, they are an easy call to run. You shouldn't have any trouble getting it mastered. One more thing I want to touch on is rigging these things up. They come on a pretty long lanyard. This one's still full length here. But what I like to do personally, I get these little aluminum S-beaners. Hopefully that's showing up in the camera. I like the ones with the little locking tab the best. And then I'll just find a little loop or a tab on the bino harness. I think everybody's running a bino harness now, or at least almost everybody is. And I'll just hook it in there. I will generally shorten that lanyard up 4 or 5 inches, just so it's not dangling too far down if I let go of it. And then I'll just run it with the reed down in one of the little side pouches. And that makes it nice and easy to get. Protects the reed, keeps it clean. So that's the way I set it up. Like I said, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or if you're struggling with this. Good luck hunting, and you guys have a good one. Thanks for watching.